uh, just in terms of its distance, but not in terms of its content. Ambassador Kapoor is also joining us at this point in time. Ambassador Kapoor, well, Donald Trump has definitely stirred a nest over here by calling India a dead economy. We are not taking that on our ego because we know that's not based in fact. But the reality is that this tension that Donald Trump has managed to create between the two countries, it has the potential, to take the relationship back a few years. Do you think that was a healthy thing to happen? And do you think that India, a country which has always taken pride in its resilience, will look at this as an opportunity to go Swadesi, which eventually is a loss to the Americans?
Thank you, Vineet, for inviting me for this discussion. It's very important and in many ways a very difficult phase that the US-India relations are going through at this juncture. It is one of the most important relationships in the world uh, for US, for India, and for the world. Now, if certain people do not understand the significance or are trying to sort of detract from that importance and the value it brings, it is very unfortunate because for both the countries, it will have quite a bit of impact. But if I were to take a comparative view, sitting here in Washington, with India's GDP almost 6.7%, and US GDP hovering around 2% approximately. The impact on the US will be much more uh, on in terms of percentage of GDP drop also. India, it is estimated that the impact on GDP of these tariffs will be about 0.2%. Now, similarly, if it is translated to the US markets, the impact will be a much higher percentage because their growth rate is very, very low. Then, if I look at the overall exports from India to the US, that's about $86.5 billion currently. 20 to $25 billion worth of goods are not impacted. Now, on the US side, it's an aging population. They require a lot of support in terms of renewing aspects of human resource and manpower from India, healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, IT professionals. So it's a very complementary sort of economies of these two countries, which can, if they work together, India needs the technology, America needs the Indian, manufacturing strengths to rebuild its own strengths. No other country has the possibility to support America the way India can support America at this juncture. In warfare, in terms of the stresses, geostrategic problems, terrorism, the strategic community here, till some time back, was very convinced that the path forward for them lay in a very strong sort of collaboration with India, strong partnership with India. Now, it has taken a turn with this discussion on trade and tariffs. I don't know how long it will last. I don't think it will be for many years. It may be much shorter than that because the Indian diaspora in the US is influential. While Trump has his own thoughts and ideas and way of working and thinking, which may not be to the benefit of the US in the long term, whereas he thinks that whatever he is doing is going to benefit America because that is his primary criteria. But he has to understand that you cannot take on the world as a single country. You cannot make enemies out of different countries at the same time, or different groups of countries or different regions. And you have to understand what are your priorities, what are your threats, which are your bigger threats. Is China a big threat? Is terrorism a big threat? Russia may not be such a big threat, which they have been sort of portraying as a very big threat. But together with India and Russia, if the US were to, sit together and see what are good solutions for reviving also the US economy, I think they will be able to come to a lot more, positive outcomes rather than this sort of path where they arbitrarily. And I have worked a lot on comprehensive economic partnership agreements, free trade agreements, in terms of all our delegations which come from India, from the Commerce Ministry with representatives from other ministries. Now, I have never seen sort of tariff by tweet or tariff by diktat from the top, that this is the percentage of tariff and this is how we will proceed ahead.
Understood, sir.
Now,
Understood,
yeah.
sir.